Hello everyone, welcome to this video about one of my favorite tunes called Miro Tata Mimer, and I will talk about that more later. Just want to say I'm back from my tour in the US. It was a great time, performed at several jazz clubs, festivals with great musicians, and so I didn't make videos for 3 weeks, but I'm back and I'm gonna get back into making videos very regularly for my channel, two to three times a week. And this first video is about something that I got the idea from in the US, and I will talk about that after this intro. So while I was in the US, I didn't only play gigs, concerts, or teach workshops or private lessons, but I also jammed a lot. When you play at a festival, usually there's lots of jams with the other artists, but also with just visitors. A lot of visitors are musicians themselves, and there's lots of high-level players that are just there visiting the festival to hang out, to jam. And in one of those jams, someone suggested an idea for a video series. And they told me, why don't you make a series where you talk about your favorite songs and songs that are not played that often, and just teach them in your video. So teach them how to play the theme, and maybe teach how to improvise over the tunes. And of course, I made some of those videos already. I made all of me and like the basic standards, but there is a couple of standards that I really like that are not played often. I usually teach them in the jam sessions, and that's why somebody gave me this idea. Why don't you do this in a video? And I thought, you know what? I'm going to start with that when I get back, because it's also not that difficult to do for me, because these are some of my favorite tunes, and I can get back into the groove of making videos. And then, of course, I'm going to go back also to talking about Joe Pass and talk about the great legends of jazz and gypsy jazz. But for now, let's start with this series, maybe in parallel to some other stuff, and see how it works out. So this first tune I want to talk about is called Miro Tata Mimer, which is a Romanes title, right, from the Romanes language, the language that the Sinti gypsies speak. And it means for my father, Mimer. Mimer is the name. And that's the father of Stochelo. And this is one of his compositions, and I think it's one of his nicest compositions. A lot of fun to play, but nobody seems to know it or remember that he recorded it. I think he recorded it in 1995. Even he doesn't really remember. I mean, he remembers the tune, but he never plays it. And when I talked to him about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's a tune I wrote a long time ago. But he never played it since. And I really like to play it, and everybody I show it to really likes the tune. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to play the theme, because the theme is beautiful. And then I'll make another video about the rhythm, like the bossa rhythm, how to play the chords, but that video will be for Patreon only. And I'll make a third video showing you some handy ways of navigating the chords during improvisation. That will also only be on Patreon. So if you join my Patreon, you will get access to those two videos. Right, this video will be on YouTube for free. One other video for my lowest level patrons, $5 ones with the rhythm, and then you can learn how I play the bossa rhythm and my subtleties. And then a third video for my higher level patrons on how to improvise. So let's just get started with the theme. Of course, I made some tab. Here it is. And of course, you can download the tab also from my Patreon. The link is in the description. Or you can just, of course, take some screen caps. The chords of this tune, it's kind of a trick almost. It goes from D major 7 to D flat 7 or C sharp 7, then to C major 7 to B 7, then to B flat major 7 to, so it's just a descending bass line alternating between a major 7 chord and a dominant chord. And the theme makes use of this principle by having a repeating sequence. So the first bar goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Second bar, right, so 4, 1. So you get this this partial D major 7 chord, and the trick for me is to not play it like this, but to not make the chord on the two ends too fast, but more like a harp. But you want to hear the notes almost one after each other, but of course in the end you're playing a chord. And then the third and fourth bar. And notice that I leave my fingers down as much as possible. Then we get the exact same thing, but just everything 2 frets down, because I mean the chords also sequence, so we get the same thing here. And then we get the same thing again, 2 frets down. And now we get a different bar. But let me talk about that first sequence. What you can do, you can make an embellishment every time you want, if you want, with a trill. It's not the easiest to do, and you don't have to do it. I just do it sometimes. I don't want to do it every time because it gets a little bit annoying that way, but I just do it sometimes. So then we're at this part. Oh, sorry, it's not good in the screen. And then the fourth bar, so we get A7. We get in a quarter triplet, so 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, da, ti, 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 ti. If you can play a quarter triplet, if you never played a quarter triplet, I bet there's lots of videos on YouTube on how to play a quarter triplet, but it's essentially playing 3 notes against 2 beats, right? Because there's 4 beats in this bar and 6 notes. The first note is a rest, but still you could think ta, ti, ti. So find a video about a quarter triplet. Actually, I'll find a video for you and link it in the description. So that we get this quarter triplet. And we go to the next part. And this is just some chord tricks, but they sound beautiful. Slide. This is a B7 flat 9 13 chord. Then we get this trick for E minor. So you go from this E minor chord to this E minor chord, and then there's some melody on top. And then we get again a flat 9 13 chord, but now for A7. So 3, 4, 1 bar before. Now on the backing track, I accidentally played these chords. I played D major 7. Now it says B7, but then I played this. So I played B7 flat 9, flat 13, E minor, and then I played A7 flat A7 13, I think. That's okay. But for the B7, there is a flat 13 on the backing track, but you're playing this chord with a G sharp. So, I mean, it's not a very big problem. But if you play it live, you should ask your rhythm player not to play that chord during the theme, right? During the improvisation is fine. They should just play normal B7 without an alteration, or they should actually play the same chord. They should play. Or just a simple B7, that's 7, 6, 7, 8. So. It works with this backing trick too. It's a bit of a clash, but it's okay. So let me play this A part, because this repeats, so it's twice. Let me play it twice for you with the backing track now that you know what I'm doing. By the way, the backing track is on my YouTube channel. It's already on my YouTube channel right now, but I put it hidden so I can release both videos at the same time. But there's a link to the backing track in the description, so you can practice this immediately. Here we go. The first 2 A's. Really beautiful, I think. Now, if you listen to the original, I'll put a link to the original recording in the YouTube description. Then you will notice that where I'm playing this, actually Stochelo plays this. He plays one note extra, but I know Stochelo can flatten his third finger while keeping the other fingers round in this chord, this D major 7/9 chord. I cannot do it. It's very difficult for me to flatten this finger while keeping the other fingers round, so I have all the fingers round and I just skip this high note and play a different rhythm. I mean, the effect's the same, so you can just either do what's in my tab or listen to the original recording and make that one change. If you can flatten your third finger like that. Actually, Stochelo can play 6 strings in this chord. He can play... the only way I could do it is like this. But there's no way for me to do it like this. I mean, you'll hear some dead strings. Let's go to the bridge. Now the bridge goes to D minor, very interesting. You get D minor to A with a C sharp bass. Then you get a 2-5-1 to B flat major. And then you get A7 to D minor. And then you get B flat 7, A7, D minor. But he continues the same motive, but now it's in minor. So let's check that out. So it starts like this: D minor with the flat 6 there. Now in the original recording he plays all the notes as a chord again on the 2 end, like this. Now it's pretty difficult to put 2 fingers like that on 1 fret. So if you have trouble with that, the thing to do is to push your second finger towards the fret in between the 8th and 9th fret. So just push your second finger towards the fret so there's room for your first finger to slide to that B flat. But even then it could be difficult. It goes to this chord. Then we go to on the 2-5. Now for this chord, it's very easy to make it sound not correct by having your fingers too flat in this chord, because you come from the chord before where you have a flat first finger. If you don't correct it, it actually might fail this chord. You might have some dead notes. So for me, I want to put all the fingers round, so I hit all the strings from above. So also not to make this chord out of tune by bending the strings. So and this is the same as in the A part where it's B flat major 7. Then we go to A7. Then we get this thing. That's the way I play it. I like to play slide, first finger and then jump. But Stochelo plays it probably like this. Which is also great sounding. But for me, I don't like to slide twice with the same finger. So I do the jump. This D minor 7/9. Then we get to the B flat 7. No, I can't. I'm sorry, I cannot go down any further. So I cannot show you the tab, but look at my fingers. 1, 2, 3. Now these 2 chords, Stochelo doesn't do it in the original recording, it's just A7. I like, in a bossa type song, before the solos, I like to do this 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 solo. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So the whole bridge, D minor. Go to this A7 chord. Round fingers. The same as the A parts. Jump. So let me play the whole song for you, both A's and the B part, and then that's it, right? Okay, here we go. Now, to improvise on this tune, there are some tricks you can use, and of course, I will discuss that in a Patreon only video. If you join my Patreon, you can also download all the tabs you just saw here. Let me know what you think of this new series, and I'll continue teaching you songs that I really like to play in jam sessions, that are fun to play, that have unusual melodies or unusual chord progressions or very fun chord progressions. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!